All right. Looking live. It's sold out MetLife Stadium with today. The 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 Atlanta Falcons. And why are the Atlanta Falcons 0-16? Because they suck. Been around since 1966. Ain't won nothing. And the 2 Super Bowls. Biggest choke job in Super Bowl history. The other time they got blown out by the Broncos back after the 97 season. Atlanta Falcons, you suck. Oh, man, that stuff gets me every time. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all is going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Wherever anybody's going to spend right on. That was after the 98 season, I believe it was. 97, 98. Yeah, the Falcons lost. They got blown out by the after the 97, after the 98 season. The Falcons got blown out by the Broncos. The Broncos beat the Packers after the 97 season, after the 98 season. That was John Elway's last game. So the Falcons' biggest choke job in Super Bowl history, and after the 98 season, they got blown out by the Broncos. So, welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, Farley. Throw in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box. I give me 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. But also, seriously, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So once again, please feel free to fire away with the comments. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second membership level I got is called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me, and I thank you in advance. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, and hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe you can give this video a thumbs up or share it. That would be freaking awesome. And then finally, also just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 links. There's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. Can't stand change. I'm one of them old-time farts. Get off my lawn! Right? Kind of old-time farts, right? I like things just kind of the way they are. I don't like things being changed up. Just leave things just the way they are, right? It's a Twitter link, right? That link underneath the Facebook one. The Facebook link. I like things, the way it is. It's always been Twitter. It'll always be Twitter to me, whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants you to call it or wants me to call it. That's on you, bro. I ain't calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter. Nah. It's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And then finally, the link on top of it takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 8,300 members in the group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in this group, but the members post stuff in this group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, all that stuff said and done and that away with them. Like one eye, trying to keep my focus here on the Giants and all that stuff and everything. And then I'm kind of like Marty Feldman. Is that the dude? Marty, he was like an old actor. He was a short guy, but his eyes look like Marty Feldman. I think it might be the guy. His eyeballs. I mean, he looks like one of those chameleons or something like that. Like his eye, one eye was like looking over here, and one eye was like looking over there and stuff. Right. So what I'm trying to do is like keep one eye like obviously on the gridiron stuff here and the Giants and all that, but then I got like my other eyeball like looking off to the side. I'm trying to keep an eye on the Rangers as they're going into double overtime against Carolina. Carolina's a good team, boy. I'll tell you. They they're out shooting the Rangers here. Looks like they're kind of I haven't really seen much of it, but but they're out playing. Or certainly out shooting the Rangers. That is for darn sure, and they're a very very good team. And so it's going into double overtime, tied at 3. So even if the Rangers lose here, it's still got a long way to go in this series. But this is very rare for me anyway, because you got obviously the football's over with. You got baseball. We're just starting with the baseball, right? But I'm a Met fan, so they're not doing. I think they're winning. Let me see the Mets here. They were winning 7-5. Let's go to baseball here. Major League Baseball. Let's go to scores. Did they win? They were winning 7-5. All right, let's keep scrolling. Yeah, they won. 175. Cool. All right. They finally actually scored some runs. Cool. Good for them. So they just evened their record at 500. But this is very rare air here for especially for me, because I like the Knicks and the Rangers. And basically, if you go back to say 72-73, when the Knicks won their last championship, right? So you go back basically to 70. So you go right after that season. Right, 73, 74, whatever. Same thing with the hockey season. So you go from 73 to 74, basically 50 years of Knick basketball and 50 years of Ranger hockey. Okay, I was alive, and I barely remember their first when the Knicks won in 69-70, then they won 72-73. So I remember a little bit 72-73. But if you go 73 to 74, which is what, so you go 50 years in the future for Knick basketball, 73 to 74 to 2023, 2024. And you go 50 from 73, 74 with the Rangers, 50 years in the future, right? 2023, 2024. So that's 100 years, 50 and 50. 100 years of sports between the Knicks and the Rangers, one championship. Absolutely unfrickin' believable. At least I can say I was alive for both Knick championships. By the way, the team they had back then, just unbelievable. What a frickin' team that was. The Rangers have had some close calls over the years and all that, but they just got the one championship. So basically 100 years of sports between the Knicks and the Rangers, right? One championship. So this is very rare air, but the Rangers, like the President Trophy, so at least they got, they qualify as a real legitimate threat maybe to win the whole thing. Knicks, not so much. They're going to have a hard time. If they do get past the Pacers, they're going to have a hard time. I think that the Celtics won, I think, by 712 points tonight or something like that. So the Knicks will have a real hard time, beating the Celtics, But just very rare air that both the Rangers and the Knicks, same season, right? At least the second round of the playoffs, it's like mind blowing, right? Maybe they might even actually both get to the third round. What's up, Matey G man? I've been on a little bit of a rant here. I've been talking about the Rangers and the Knicks. I said I'm trying to keep one eye on the stuff I'm trying to do here, but then I got my other eye looking off to the side. I'm trying to keep an eye on what the Rangers are doing here. It's going in the second overtime, and it's 3-3. Like I said, Carolina's really really good team. So, but you ain't missed nothing. I haven't started talking about the Giants yet. I say, you ain't missed nothing. I'm just down there petting my dog, pet my buddy Randy. He's taking a nap down here by my feet. I saw this one ad here, this one article. It says this is from Ed Valentine, right? Yeah, from Big Blue View. He says, is the Giants 2024 roster better than the one Schoen inherited after the is the 2024 season, or the Giants basically, are they better now, or are they better? Is the roster better before Schoen took over? And tell you what, I mean, if after 3 years, if they're not better after 3 years, I mean, we're going in the wrong direction. So basically, Ed Valentine, what he does is he goes over each positional group, and there's like 10 of them, and he breaks them all down, and he says, are the Giants better now, or were they better back then? And it's kind of close. It is kind of close. It had, as I was reading the article, I bite my fingernails. I don't have much fingernails, but I bite my fingernails. So it's it's keeping me suspense. Then it goes over the quarterbacks. The 2021 roster, the final 2021 roster. Oh my God. Oh, tell you what, any roster, any high school roster, okay, strike that. Any kindergarten roster, okay, with 3 quarterbacks on would be better than the 2021. The Giants had Daniel Jones, who was on injury reserved, so he couldn't play. Then we had Mike Lennon, and we had Jake from State Farm, right? So now we got Daniel Jones, Drew Lock, and Tommy DeVito. So the Giants roster right now, as far as quarterbacks, were better. But I mean, it's like we still got Daniel Jones. So he breaks this down. We might as well get right into the meat of the discussion. Daniel Jones is still Daniel Jones. If you want to look at Jones' 2022 season, you might say he's better than he was. If you look at last year, you might say he was worse. I'll just say Jones is Jones and call that neutral. Locke and DeVito are an upgrade from Mike Lennon, oh my God, and Jake from State Farm. Jake from State Farm. So Ed Valentine gives the score that the Giants quarterback situation in 2024 is better than it was when Schoen took over in 2021. All right. All right, then go running back. So here we go. 2021 roster. The Giants had Devontae Booker, Cullen Gillespie, Elijah Penny. Yeah, I like Elijah Penny. Gary Brightwell, who's on injury reserve, and Sandro Platzgummer. I believe that's how you spell it. And, of course, Saquon Barkley. This year, we got Devin Singletary, Gary Brightwell, Eric Gray, Tyrone Tracy Jr., Deshaun Corbin, Deion Jackson, and Dante Miller. So he says the Giants are set to begin their post-Saquon era this season. Barkley, of course, is a tremendous player, fully healthy and productive. Barkley is one of the game's best backs. In 2021, he wasn't that. He gained only 593 yards in 13 games as he came back from his 2020 knee injury and also missed time with another leg injury. Devontae Booker also gained 593 yards. The Giants also weirdly carried 2 fullbacks. Yeah, that was a bit weird. So basically, what Ed Valentine's saying is that, the Giants basically, he said, we're a little bit worse, our running back situation, basically, because now we don't have Saquon anymore, pretty much. Now, to be fair, none of the guys on the roster are Saquon, so that's a given. But, I'm very anxious to say I'm going to do a little bit more on Tyrone Tracy in a little bit here. Of course, I like to see what Eric Gray's got other than him just trying to return punts. But obviously, if we don't have Saquon anymore, I can certainly see the nod, I guess, going to the 2021 running back situation was a little bit better than it is right now. The thing is also now it's like, maybe we're not maybe as good, but you also look you're going a few years in the future, and Saquon's had, some more tread taken off his tires. So, the 2024 Saquon, of course, I'm sure he'll do pretty well with the Eagles because they have a very good offensive line. But, Saquon's had some tread taken off his tires in the past 3 years. But, I guess I got to give the nod to the 2021 running back group. Then we got the tight ends. The 2021 tight ends was Evan Ingram, Kyle Rudolph, Caden Smith, who was on injury reserve, Levine Toilolo, who was on injury reserve, and Ryson John, who was on, hard to believe, injury reserve. So apparently we had 315 tight ends on the 2021 roster, and out of 315, 314 of them were on injury reserve. Hard to believe. Hard to believe. Now we got Darren Waller. We still don't even know if he's even going to play. Daniel Bellinger, Chris Manhertz, Jack Stahl, Theo Johnson, Lawrence Cager, and Adoree Jackson. So he says here, overall, he says the overall score was slightly better. Now, Evan Ingram never became the difference maker for the Giants. He seems to be doing pretty good with the Jaguars. So now, it'd be interesting. I'm not exactly sure, if Waller was to retire. I'm not exactly sure what grade he'd be given because he said right now our tight end group is better. So back because it's hard. We have Evan Ingram, 2021, and Kyle Rudolph. It's not bad. If Darren Waller was to retire, right, then we have Daniel Bellinger, Chris Manhertz, Jack Stahl, Theo Johnson, Lawrence Cager, and Adoree Jackson. I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about the 2021 rosters a little bit better. The tight ends, anyway, a little better there than what we got right here because, Theo Johnson, he's not proven. Right? Daniel Bellinger, okay, but nothing, fantastic. I would actually take the 2021 roster, but Ed Valentine says that, according to him, we're better slightly at the tight end position. Now we go to the wide receiver position. Back in 2021, Kenny Golladay, Colin Johnson, John Ross, David Sills, Darius Slayton, Kadarius Toney, Sterling Shepard, who was on IR, CJ Board, who was on IR, Dante Pettis, who was on IR. Hard to believe. 99.9% of the Giants in the 2021 roster will finish the season on IR. Hard to believe. Current roster, obviously, Malik Neighbors, Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Jalen Hyatt, Isaiah Hodgins, Miles Boykin, Chase Cota, Bryce Ford Wheaton, Dennis Houston, Isaiah McKenzie, and Gunnar Olszewski. Now, the weird thing is that, we're only going back a couple seasons, and we got one guy on the roster from back then. One guy. We got Darius Slayton. He's the only wide receiver from 2021 and the same in 2024. So he said, obviously, you don't need to be a rocket scientist here. We're a better group now than we were wide receiver. Then you got the offensive line. This is a tough one here. Well. If you look at this, we have Ben Bredesen in 2021, Corey Cunningham, rest in peace, brother, rest in peace. Will Hernandez, 2021, that was his last season with the Giants. Wes Martin, Billy Price, Matt Skura, Nate Solder, Andrew Thomas, Nick Gates. Here we go. Nick Gates, who was on IR. Shane Lemieux, who was on IR. Kyle Murphy, who was on IR. And Matt Parrott, who was on IR. Once again, 915 players on our roster, offensive line roster, finished the season on IR. Hard to believe, right? Current roster, obviously, we got a lot of guys. Andrew Thomas, John Runyon Jr., John Michael Schmitz, Jermaine Illuminor, Evan Neal, Jalen Mayfield, Jimmy Morrissey, Joshua Zudu, Marcus McKeithen, Austin. I think it could, I heard a lot of people say Schlotman, but I heard one guy who covers the Vikings said it's a Danish pronunciation. He said it's Austin Schlotman, Aaron Stinney, and Matt Nelson. So he says here, the Giants better. He says we're better potentially. Giants also have a new offensive line coach too, who is replacing Bobby Johnson. So the Giants, he says we're better, and I'd have to agree. I think we're better. Especially because you go back then, Andrew Thomas was on his way escalating up. You know what I mean? So I definitely think the Giants' offensive line is better. Now we go to the defensive line. This is where the 2021 roster starts evening things out a little bit, right? This is where the defensive line right here. You're comparing the 2021 defensive line to the 2024 defensive line. Of course, we got Sexy Dexy and Sexy Dexy, right, in 2021 and 24. However, there is the one missing piece, Leo the Lion. So therefore, the nod is going to go to the 2021 class. Dexter Lawrence, 2021 was Dexter Lawrence, Leonard Williams, Austin Johnson, Raymond Johnson, and Danny Shelton. Current roster, Sexy Dexy, Ryder Anderson, DJ Davidson, Timmy Horn, Raheem Nunez, Nacho, Jordan Phillips, and Jordan Riley. So the overall score were worse. Trading Williams was understandable and correct under the circumstances, and it enabled the Giants to land Burns, which obviously, upped our edge rushing position, but is unquestionably weakened. Lawrence supporting cast is not as good as it was because basically we don't have Leonard Williams. Improvement from Riley would go a long way toward fixing that. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Some of these guys, they come in, some of these later round picks. Let's hope DJ Davidson and maybe Jordan Riley can maybe up their game a little bit. That would be fantastic. But I don't know if they can ever be anything near as far as what Leonard Williams could do. All right. So I said, it would be nice to see, I said, like next season, can we focus on somewhere along the line, either in free agency or in the draft, first or second round, get ourselves a nice stud defensive lineman to put right next to Sexy Dexy. That would be a nice front wall, really nice front wall. So obviously the 2021 roster is better as far as the defensive line than the 2024 roster. Then we go inside linebackers. Now this is like oh my God. When I go over to this, it's like oh my God. I'm looking at these guys and I'm like, oh yeah, we sucked. Yeah. Tay Crowder, Benardrick McKinney, Reggie Ragland, Jalen Smith, T.J. Brunson, who was on IR, Justin Hilliard, who was on IR, and Blake Martinez, who was on IR. Right? This year, obviously, we got Bobby Okereke, Micah McFadden, Isaiah Simmons, Darian Beavers, Carter Coughlin, Deontay Johnson, Darius Muasau, and Matthew Adams. So the overall score is the 2024 roster is better. I mean, although, Blake Martinez, did very well when he was with the Giants. Unfortunately, that year, when the hell did we lose to Atlanta? Was that the first game of the season? Second game of the season? Whatever the heck that was. I mean, he tried to make the tackle out in the flat and just he gone for the whole season. That is a shame, real shame. So the inside linebackers are better. 2024. The outside linebackers, I think where we're going to go here. Back outside linebackers for the 2021. The final 2021 roster was Cam Brown, Lorenzo Carter, Azeez Ojulari, Quincy Roche, O'Shane Zimenez, and Ellerson Smith, who was on IR. Ellerson, I can't stay healthy to save my life. Smith was on IR. Obviously, current roster, Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Azeez Ojulari, Boogie Basham, Toman Fox, Jeremiah Martin, and Benton Whitley. Obviously, this 2024, the roster here, better. So, as of right now, the 2024 is roster is pulling away. There's two positions left, and this is where it winds up. The gap starts getting closed a little bit. Now, back then, we had some, we weren't winning a ton of games or nothing like that, but we had some decent pieces in the secondary back then, without question. All right, so we go cornerbacks, right? James Bradberry and Adoree Jackson, Aaron Robinson, right? I mean, if the guy could stay on the field, he could probably be a very productive player. Guy can't stay; he's always injured. We got Darnay Holmes, who was on injured reserve, or Darius Williams, who was on injured reserve. We had Jaron Williams, but just the fact that James Bradberry and Adoree Jackson. obviously now we got Tay Banks. We don't even know who cornerback number 2 who's going to be. We got a lot of young guys, which that I really like. Really, really like that. A lot of young guys. But who is going to be cornerback number 2? Is he on the roster? Or is there something they're going to have to maybe get somebody? We'll have to wait and see. But we do have a lot of young guys. We did bring in David Long, who's not that young, but we got a lot of young guys. But obviously the 2021 roster, as far as cornerbacks, because of Adoree Jackson and James Bradberry, they get the nod. And then finally the safeties. Right? And I said, you go back, back then in 2021, we had James Bradberry, we had Adoree Jackson. I'm just saying this is the secondary. James Bradberry, Adoree Jackson. We had Logan Ryan, Xavier McKinney, and J Love with special sauce, Julian Love, and Jabril Peppers. We had some, I'm not saying we wound up being a phenomenal defense or a phenomenal set, but we had some nice pieces. Those are some nice players there. Nice players, right? But I'm just saying the safeties, 2021, we had Logan Ryan, Xavier McKinney, Julian Love, Jabril Peppers, who wound up on IR, then Nate Ebner, who was on IR, and Joshua Kalu, who was on IR. But now we got Jason Pinnock, Tyler Newman, Dane Belton, Jalen Mills, and Javarius Owens. So the 2021 roster gets the nod. So now it's a little closer, right? So after the 10, all right, after the 10, according to Ed Valentine, and I pretty much kind of agree, I guess. The only thing I'm a little leery of is that if Darren Waller were to retire, okay, and our tight ends that we got with Bellinger and Theo Johnson and Stahl and Manhurts and Cager and all that. The 2021 roster had Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph. I'll take Evan Ingram and Kyle Rudolph over what we got right now if Waller were to retire. So, but right now, according to Ed Valentine, the 2024 roster right now, they're better at quarterback. Although we still got Daniel Jones in 2021 and 24, but said the quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, offensive line, inside linebacker, and outside linebacker. So 6 of the 10 positional groups are better right now, according to Ed Valentine. The ones that are worse, running back, cornerback, safety, and defensive line. Now, if I said next year's draft or in free agency, if we can get, we're like, as far as the defensive line, we're like one guy away, right, from maybe being even, right? Then, the 2021 class, if we can get somebody, pretty good next to Sexy Dexy, our defensive line would really, really be nice. So, it's close. It's close. But according to Ed Valentine, the 2024 our group right now is better than the 2021. So, well, I have to wait and see. It all depends upon, let's see what kind of production they put on the field, because it doesn't matter. You can be good on paper, but if you're not winning games, forget about it. All right. Then I seen this here. This is kind of interesting. Yeah. All right, baby. The Rangers won. Now we're talking. So Rangers won 4-3. Cool. Maybe I'll get to watch the game-winning goal. Cool. All right. Oh, I thought it said 4-3. Hold on there. Let me see. It said the Rangers won 4-3. End of second overtime. 4-3. Cool. All right. Rangers, 2-0 lead. Haven't lost one yet. They're 6-0 in the playoffs so far. So, but they're a long way to go. Carolina's a very, very good team. Long way to go in that series. But anyway, I seen this apparently. Well, once again, you don't know 100%. You get these guys got to have their sources and stuff like that. But apparently, the Giants were looking at a different running back in the group. They had their MarShawn Lloyd from USC. Says the Giants are happy. This is from Giants country. This is Patty Trainer. said the Giants reportedly had their eye on this player in the NFL draft. It was a different running back. But according to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, the Giants draft might have gone a little different had USC running back MarShawn Lloyd not gone off the board at number 88 to the Packers. Fowler reported that the Giants and the Cowboys reportedly had their eye on Lloyd, but because they didn't have a pick, the Giants didn't have a pick between 71 and 107, right? They didn't get a chance to draft him. Now, I mean, he had some nice stats. Now, he was at South Carolina for 3 seasons. Then he transferred to USC for 2023. Now, I gotta give the nod here. I mean, he's only had 291 carries. So that's nothing really as far as a running back in college. 291 touches. But while he was at USC, played in 11 games, had 116 touches. So basically, he had like 10 touches a game, right? Which is like, because, I mean, it's also because there's more of a passing league, too. But he had 820 yards in 116 attempts. He averaged 7.1 yards a carry. And in those 116 rushing attempts, he had 9 touchdowns. Didn't have much in the receiving game, but he had some nice numbers there. So apparently the Giants, according to Jeremy Fowler, had their eye on him. But I mean, I think the Giants should be rather pleased. I think with what they're going to get with Tracy. I think, let's say, based on Tracy's college production, it's not hard to see why the popular analytics sites believe Tracy can make an impact as a rookie. He averaged 6.3 yards per attempt, 4.44 yards after contact per attempt, and forced 46 missed tackles, the third most in the Big Ten. There we go. Tracy's prior experience is a receiver as well, too, right? So he's got both of them. Now, this is from Giants Wire. The hype train continues for Giants rookie running back Tyrone Tracy Jr. Giants made 6 selections, obviously. One of the picks was the 5th round, the Tyrone Tracy Jr., a wide receiver turned running back from Purdue by way of Iowa, is being called a sleeper pick by some experts. Marcus Mosher of the 33rd team has also identified Tracy as a rookie who can make an instant impact. Now, I'll tell you what, it got some. Oh, gotta move my legs here. Hold on. There we go. All right. Now, I'll tell you what, his RAS score was pretty. I'll tell you what, between him and like Theo Johnson, those two guys, their RAS scores were really off the frickin' chart. Tracy started his career with the Iowa Hawkeyes, appearing in 38 games as a wide receiver, but after a modest production, he transferred to Purdue and started 5 games as a receiver. Ahead of the 2023 season, Tracy transitioned to running back, which likely saved his career. In his first year playing the position, Tracy led the Big Ten in yards per carry, 6.3, and scored 8 rushing touchdowns. While Tracy isn't ready to be a full-time running back, 146 career carries in college, so he's got a lot of tread left on the tires, a lot. He is an incredible athlete who is a threat to score on any play. He posted a 9.78 RAS score, which ranks 42nd all-time out of 1,903 running backs. I think it goes back to 1987, right? So he's 42nd all-time and for running backs, or the RAS score, after posting a 40-inch vertical at 209 pounds. So, I mean, he's crazy athletic. Obviously, then it says here, Tracy will be in the mix with veteran Devin Singletary and second-year Eric Gray in a committee that will try to help Giant fans move on from Saquon Barkley. And don't forget about Gary Brightwell. Yeah, there's just, they're battling it out, right? We got Slick Tracy and Turbo. Oh, yeah, don't forget about him, too. I'm anxious to see what they're going to do with Miller. I mean, the dude's got a rocket up his rear end. I mean, you get that dude, get him in the open field, he's gone. Ain't nobody catching him. Was it 4.27 he ran? 4.28, something like that. I mean, nobody's catching him. Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see. I mean, it would be just maybe a special teamer, or they'll try to somewhere along the line get him on the field. Be interesting to see. But we got a nice, I'm not saying we got the greatest running back crew in all of football now, but we got some nice guys. The only thing we don't have, okay. I mean, you could certainly maybe take one of somebody, move them in the backfield if you need somebody as a blocker or something like that. But we really don't have like a big. Not that you can just pull a Brandon Jacobs out of thin air and all like that. But we don't have somebody who's 6'3", 6'4", 240 or something like that. Somebody can just maybe run somebody over for a yard or something like that. We don't seem to really have that. Yeah. But I'm very anxious to see with the Miller too. Absolutely. That's why I really like the the preseason games, because then obviously they don't put the starters in that much. I would like to see maybe put the starting offensive lineman in there a little bit longer, get a little cohesion going on with the five guys up front. But that's what I love about the the preseason. As I said, especially when they're not putting the starters in there, because then you see these guys like Tracy. He's going to get some time in there. He's going to be running the ball, right? Heck, they might even put him out wide because he's a wide receiver. But they put Miller in there. What do they do with him? These guys are all going to get touches. That's really good, because a lot of times, because once the regular season starts, Tracy could be on the roster, but he might be the third running back, so he might get in there. He might run the ball maybe 2 times or something like that. He might have a couple pass patterns he runs or something like that. But that might be it during the regular season. But in the preseason, he might get obviously whatever, 5 carries or more carries, more touches. He'll be on the field more often, that's for sure. Devin Singletary will be on the sideline, and Tracy will be in there more. So that's what I like about the preseason. Really, really like that, because you get a better feel for some of these guys. The thing is also, it's a little misleading, because when you get somebody, like you draft them in the 4th round or 5th round, and you put him on the field in preseason and he does good, you're like, this guy, he's good. Wow, did you see him in But he's going up against like second and third team, the other team's second and third stringers too. So it's a little, it's not like, if Tracy does really good in preseason, it's like, this guy's unbelievable. But he's going up against the other team's second and third string too. So you got to keep stuff and keep that stuff in mind. But that's what I like about preseason. You get to see these guys. All right, what the heck we got next here? Oh, and this is PFF showing a little bit of love for the Giants, but it just kind of goes to show you. It says the most improved receiving corps following the 2024 NFL Draft. The Giants, the Chargers lead the way. Now it just goes to show you, right? One guy can put you like, oh my God, they've improved so much. Well, that's amazing, right? And one of the other teams that improved the most would be the Arizona Cardinals. Couldn't imagine why. It's not because they got Harrison Jr. on their team no more. But according to PFF, the Giants have one of the most improved receiving groups. Now the Chargers loaded up on receivers, but not obviously in the first round. They took Alt, right? But they took McConkey and Jerry Rice's son, and then Michigan's Cornelius Johnson. So they took, all of those had the chance to build a rapport with Herbert and become a featured part of the Los Angeles new look offense. So they loaded up on offense. I mean, they got some wide receivers. They took Alt. So, I mean, I hope they're okay with the defense that they have. So, but then it goes, you got Daniel Jones with getting Malik Neighbors, but they got the top 5 most improved receiving groups. One is the New England Patriots. After they took Drake May, Let's see here. Used a 37 overall pick on Jaylen Polk, I'm sorry, who exceeds in the middle of the field as evidenced by his 94 receiving grade on intermediate passes and a 97.1 grade on deep passes between the numbers. So Polk should also serve as a blocking asset from day one. So, the Patriots not only got themselves their quarterback, they hope for the long-term future, but they did add some, obviously. And they got Javon Baker from USC with pick number 110. So they added some good quality wide receivers. The Chargers, right, as I mentioned, they took obviously they took Alt at pick number 5, but they added Georgia's McConkey. And they took USC's, I said, Brendan Rice and Cornelius Johnson from Michigan. So they added a bunch of talent. A lot of teams, well, they kind of had to because they wound up bleeding. They had to let some of their guys go because they were like way over the cap. So unfortunately for them, they had to, But with Alt there, that he's going to help in their run game. Because Harbaugh likes to run the ball, but he'll also keep Herbert hopefully upright. But they had to let some of the guys go, the wide receivers. So they had to, so they added quite a few wide receivers in the in this draft. And then we got another one would be the Carolina Panthers. Let's see here. They took South Carolina's Xavier Legette. Let's see here. Who else did they add? Who ranked it? Well, and they took they took. Let's see. Carolina also added by Sanders. Carolina also upgraded a tight end. They took Sanders from Texas in the 4th round. Yeah. And then, of course, the Arizona Cardinals are one of the top 5 upgraded receiving groups, of course, because they took Marvin Harrison Jr. Right? Now Kyler Murray's got somebody to throw the ball to. No question. But the Giants here. Now we got Darius Slayton ongoing contract discussions combined with the Giants having the worst receiving grade in the league last year left the team in need of some juice at wideout. The team got exactly that with Malik Neighbors, who led the FBS in receiving grade in 2023. A staple of Neighbors' game is slipperiness after the catch, as reflected by his 30 missed tackles forced last year. If Slayton does remain in blue and red, he'll form a potent 1-2 punch with the 20-year-old Neighbors. Yeah, Neighbors are like 20 years old. Holy cow. Wow. He could be on the Giants literally for like 10 years, Neighbors. And he'd be 30 years old. Wow. Holy cow. If he's on the Giants for 10 years, I can tell you what, he's going to, he's going to be a rich, very rich man. All right. Then, of course, because they talk about here the inconsistent production from Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt, who each tallied less than 530 yards in 2023. It says beyond Neighbors, general manager Joe Schoen was proactive in finding a new tight end when they took Theo Johnson at the 107th overall pick. Not only did Johnson test incredibly well with a 9.93 relative athletic score. Tracy and Johnson, their RAS score was just off the freaking chart. Johnson's 9.93 RAS score, I think, was the 9th best overall tight end score since 1987. The 9th out of 1,199, I think, tight ends. Just freaking crazy. And obviously, and Theo Johnson, he was also a red zone weapon for the line. He caught 34 passes last year. 7 of them went for touchdowns. So basically, 1 out of every 5 receptions he had last season. Touchdown. So look for him. I mean, I'm sure he'll be, 6'6" target. I'm sure he'll be a nice red zone target. Then we got obviously Daniel Bellinger. He needs to do a little bit better blocking than he did last year. But we got Daniel Bellinger and Theo Johnson. Both of those guys should be featured in our 12 personnel, which offensive coordinator Mike Kafka ran on 23% of the plays. Basically, a quarter of our plays last year was 12 personnel instead of like what a lot of other, the one running back, the 11 personnel, and you got 3 wide receivers. Well, we had the one running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 wide receivers on about a quarter of our plays. So the 23% of running of the 12 personnel was the 12th highest rate in the NFL. And it says, assuming quarterback Daniel Jones remains under center, both the explosive Neighbors and Johnson should augment a poor group from the year before. Both could go a long way in returning the Giants offense to its efficient 2022 form. Well, we'll have to wait and see that. I mean, the Giants 2022 form, the Bears wide receivers are crazy. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I'm not sure why they didn't maybe add them in there, but yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams, he's got himself some weapons. Oh yeah, I mean they got the best quarterback consensus wise, right? And Mohamed Dunze, I mean, yeah, I mean, they did very well in this draft. Let me tell you what, they not only they drafted Caleb, but now he's got some guys to throw the ball to. So I mean, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They did very, very well for themselves. Absolutely. All right. Then we got this one here. Daniel Jones. Giants Daniel Jones has had NFL's second worst supporting cast since 2019. The second worst. And it's hard to argue. This is from Giants Wire. Who wrote this here? Who is this? Does it say? John Finelli. All right, NFL quarterbacks can do a lot on the football field, but no man is an island. Now, this is one of those things you never know. You know what I mean? You can't run stuff back. All right, let's put Patrick Mahomes behind center at the Giants and for every snap, and let's see what you can't do that. You know what I mean? You can't see what would have a really good quarterback done with the weapons that Daniel Jones had. Yeah, you can never do stuff like that. But, I mean, it's hard to argue that we really have not had a phenomenal supporting cast. So NFL quarterbacks can do a lot on the football field, but no man is an island. They need to have a functioning team around them if they are to ultimately succeed. New York Giants quarterback Daniel Jones has been ham-basted by fans and detractors since the day he was selected 6th overall by Big Blue back in 2019. Jones has had his issues, sure. He is often hurt and has a propensity for turning the football over at the most inopportune times. He also hasn't been able to beat the Giants' most hated rivals, the Cowboys and the Eagles. Right? As a result, the Giants have had exactly one winning season in Jones's 5 years with the club, leading critics to lay the team's entire failure on his shoulders. The truth is, Jones was charged to succeed with a surrounding cast of subpar players and coaches. A recent study shows the Giants have had the second worst supporting cast over the past 5 seasons and were just a fraction away from being the worst. Wow. Oh, my goodness. The Jets had the worst. And I can't argue with that one either. I mean, they changed it around, but let's see here. I don't know what that average. I don't. I got it. Okay, I got it. Now, what they did was they took. What is this here? Oh, okay. Who is this here? Is this NFL ranks its supporting cast rating? Oh, by averaging PFF rush, receiving, pass blocking, and run blocking grades. Everything except passing over the past 5 seasons. Okay. So what they did was they took the PFF grades, average grades for the PFF for the team's offenses. PFF, the rush grade, their receiving grade, their pass blocking and run blocking grades. They took those, all right, and they took them as an average. Now, in 2019, the Giants had the 23rd worst, right? 2020, they had the 31st worst. They had the 30th worst in 2021. 2022, they were 21. And in 2023, they had the 32nd worst supporting cast. So basically, out of the last 5 seasons, according to PFF grades, that's what they're going by here, right? The Giants in the past 5 years have had the 30th worst, the 31st worst, and the 32nd worst. 3 out of the 5, they've had the worst grades. They're one of the worst grades in football. Only the Jets. The Jets were 31st in 2019, 31st in 2022, and 31st in 2023. Both New York teams. The Jets were 31st last year, and the Giants were 32nd last year. Absolutely. No wonder why the football game, the Giants and the Jets, right? They played was what, 13-10, right? In overtime, right? It was 10-7 with what? 20 seconds to go, whatever it was, 10-7. I mean, they had no offense. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. But anyway, over the past 5 seasons, according to this, right, the Jets were 27.8. That's what they averaged. That's what their score averaged, 27.8 out of 32 teams. The Giants were 27.4. So the Giants were at the second worst supporting cast in the past 5 seasons. According to this, the Jets were the worst. Whew, man. I mean, it's like not hard to argue with that. I mean, it's not even so much the talent around them, but it was like a lot of it also has to do with the blocking as well, or the lack of blocking, shall we say? What we got here? Management has acknowledged that they haven't done enough to support Jones. We've done everything possible to screw this kid up since he's been here, Giants co-owner John Mara said back in 2022. Giants did ink Jones to his contract extension. And after that statement, they only had to get him. He got hurt in 2023. This spring, they tried desperately to trade up in the NFL draft to select Jones's replacement, but to no avail. Instead, they were left to address their many other roster needs, which is what they should have been doing all along. Well, yeah, I mean, they have tried to address the offensive line situation. I mean, not quite. Over the past, if you go back to whatever, like with you go back to 2019. Not 2019. 2020, I'm sorry, with Andrew Thomas, right? Yeah, I mean, we took, a first-round tackle, got Evan Neal's a first-round tackle. We took a second-round center, and Zudu. If you want to go back to 2018, we took a second-round guard with Hernandez. Take with Zudu, we took a third-round guard. So if you want to go back to, like, say, 2018 with Hernandez, right, from 2018, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, it's only 6 years. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So in those 6 seasons, right? I mean, this is pretty impressive as far as the draft capital the Giants were spending, right? Took Hernandez, second round guard. We took Thomas, first round tackle. We took Evan Neal, first round tackle. We took John Michael Schmitz, second round center. We took Azudu, third round. Andrew Thomas, first round tackle. Guard could be Hernandez next to him, second round. Schmitz, second round. Zudu, third round guard, and Evan. So I mean that's some major draft capital we spent. So, we've tried. I'm sure some of it's coaching. Sure some of it's got to do coaching, but we've certainly addressed that, and not only that, right? But the Giants, I don't know, was it my video last night or the night before that or whatever, the Giants have spent by far in the past 4 seasons, once again, draft capital on wide receivers, not the amount of wide receivers that in the past 4 drafts, right? But the capital, the amount of capital that they spent, a valuable 2 first rounds on wide receivers, a second rounder, and a third rounder on past 4 drafts. Kadarius Toney, first rounder. Malik Neighbors, first rounder. Wan'Dale Robinson, second rounder. Jalen Hyatt, a third rounder. So, they've spent, they've tried. They've tried, right? Without question. We brought in, we drafted Brightwell. We brought Deshaun Corbin in. He was an undrafted free agent, I believe. But, we got Eric Gray. We got Tracy. Not that we spent like first and second rounders on those guys, but we did that. We spent first round of pick number 2 on Saquon Barkley. But we've been bringing some running backs in. But they've tried. I mean, they've spent some draft capital on the offensive line and the wide receivers. They're trying. And just for one reason or the other, things just aren't always working out. Obviously like Kadarius Toney. But once again, it just goes to show you why it's so important to hit on your draft picks. So important. It's not you want to bring in a left tackle. You draft a left tackle and it's just okay, put him there. We don't have to worry about our left tackle anymore. Why? Because he's good, right? We don't have to worry about and then you spend pick, you go pick 7, right? You take Evan Neal. Okay, we got our right tackle. Don't have to worry about tackles for a while. Nope. Now you keep learning. Well, Evan Neal, can he play tackle? Is he going to stay healthy? Do we move him in a guard? Is he just a bust? That's why it's so important to hit on those. Like with Kadarius Toney. The guy's got some freaking moves, but the guy's, freaking nutcase. Kadarius Toney wasn't such a nutcase, right? But it is what it is. All right. Then finally, the Giants brought in a new quarterback. Hey, he did pretty good in college. Actually, he's from he's got a little bit of Canadian in him. Canadian football man, right? Nathan Rourke. Giants claimed him off of waivers. So now the Giants got add a 4th quarterback to their 90-man roster. Giants on Tuesday were awarded quarterback Nathan Rourke off of waivers from the New England Patriots per Tom Pelissero. Daniel Jones rehabbing his torn ACL and unlikely to participate in many on-field activities until at least the beginning of training camp. The Giants had a need to add a quarterback along with Jones. We got Drew Lock, Tommy Chicken Cutler, Parmesan too. Now they have done so, right? Rourke turns 26. Rourke turns 26 later this month. He's a former Canadian Football League star. He was with the British Columbia Lions in 2021 and 2022. And in 2022, so a little impressive, right? He threw for 3,349 yards, 25 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions, while completing once again, impressive here, completing a Canadian Football League record 78.7% of his passes while starting 9 games. And I think he won an award too. The Canadian bet. Has it got something on here? No. Well, I think he won some type of award for a Canadian, the best Canadian player or something of the year. Now he's only 6'1", but 210 pounds. Said after that in 2022, worked out for a dozen NFL teams, including the Giants. He signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars. He spent most of the 2023 season on the Jacksonville practice squad. He was waived in mid-December and finished the season on the Patriots practice squad. Or could be competition for Tommy DeVito as the Giants' number 3 quarterback. Now, if you look here, not too bad, but once again, it was at Ohio. He wasn't at Ohio State or anything like that. He completed 58 in 3 years at Ohio. He completed 58.7% of his passes. His senior season, he completed 61% of his passes. Senior season, he had 20 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Overall, in his college career, he had 60 touchdown passes and 20 interceptions. He threw for 7,457 yards in 3 years. So he's got some, he's got some experience. once could be, maybe proper atmosphere might help him out. Good players to throw the ball to, maybe good coaching, maybe a little change of atmosphere might help him out. But he was on, apparently, what it said in the article, he was on, he worked out for 12 different teams. If he was all that and a bag of Doritos, he would have stuck. So, I'll have to wait and see. Keep an eye. But the Giants definitely, without question, I mean, they were going to need at least 3 quarterbacks other than Daniel Jones, because we don't even know if Daniel Jones will be even playing at all in the preseason. Actually, last season, I think he was on one drive against the Carolina Panthers. They walked down the field, scored a touchdown. And everybody's like, woo, we just walked down the field, our starting team. Woo, here we go, baby. Nothing further from the truth. But you do know that without question, they're going to need at least three quarterbacks going into camp. And that apparently right now they have that. But once again, everything's fluid, right? This guy could be here today. And 3 days from now, he could be gone, and Giants could have somebody else. I mean, you need a scorecard like this time of the year to keep up with guys that are coming and going, all these undrafted free agents. I mean, because now you got the 90-man roster. You got a lot of guys, right? So you can, they're always updating it, upgrading it, and all that stuff and everything. So, I mean, I said, this guy could be here today and gone tomorrow. So, but Giants got their, other than Daniel Jones, they got their 3rd quarterback in there. So we'll have to wait and see. But today's Tuesday, right? Soon to be Wednesday. Minicamp is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I think Ed Valentine from Big Blue View, I try to watch his podcast. He said, I think media has access Friday and Saturday to the minicamp, rookie minicamp. So we'll get some eyes on what's going on. I guess Sunday, I think Sunday there's minicamp, but nobody won't be no media coverage at all. But at least Friday and Saturday, that we'll have some coverage. We'll have to find out what's going on with that. And then after the mini camp, then you'll have the 10 OTAs, right? And then after that, whatever that ends, like the OTAs, that ends in like middle of June or whatever. Then you got like from middle of June to middle of July where there's like nothing. It's like crickets. Like nobody's. I mean, I guess Shane and Dable and all. I guess they're at the. I guess maybe the facility. I don't know, but there's no practices or nothing going on or anything like that. But so at least for the next month, right? What's today? Today's the 7th. So between, I think, the Friday's the 10th. So between May 10th and like June 13th. Or 14th or something around there. There's the 3 mini camp days, and then there's the 10 OTAs. So we'll have some stuff going on for at least the next month or so. But I said that, man, it's unbelievable because after the OTAs are over and they got that 1 month that's off, man, when they come back, I mean, I don't mean the next day we're starting the regular season, but I mean training camp, preseason games, kickoff. I mean, holy cow, man. Freaking love it. Absolutely freaking love it. All right, guys, it's been 1 hour and 3 minutes. Benny G, man, thanks again, bro. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Thanks for keeping me up. I appreciate it. Great talking to you. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.